Right, today I'm going to be doing an Alcotec Turbo Yeast 48. I've already done one of these before, and unfortunately it failed miserably and I had to throw it away, so I'm going to give it another go. I have a bucket here full of 19 litres of water. That's at 24 degrees Celsius at the moment. I have my 6 bags of 1 kilogram sugar. So what I'm going to be doing now is put this sugar into the bucket, see how much the water goes up to, and then I'm going to top it up to 25 litres with warm water, let it settle for a little bit, and then I'll take a hydrometer reading before I'll put in the yeast. And as you can see, it is now at 23 litres, so I need to top that up with a bit more water. So I already have my sterilised container with lots of nice water in here, which are going to now top up. Okay, so we are now at 25 litres of water. I have a insulation heater here, as you can see, and that actually isn't plugged in. I need to plug that in. This is set to 24 degrees, as I said earlier. So what I'm going to do is give it a bit of a stir, and then I'll keep coming back every now and then to give it a bit of a stir until all the sugar is melted away. Right, so all the sugar's now dissolved. It's nice and clean. I've checked the temperature and we're at 22 degrees. A bit on the cooler side, but not too worried about that. We're all now good and ready to take a hydrometer reading and then put the yeast in. So, on my trusty turkey baster, 1.096. 1.096, okay. Put this back in there. So now we have our specific gravity. We need to put in the yeast. Now typically I forgot to bring some scissors. Okay. Now while it looks identical to every other one I've ever seen, you can't see, typical. A bit dark in here, but yeah. See if we can get it in here. Just looks like ordinary yeast, you get it from everybody else. No actual difference whatsoever. Once that's in, give that a bit of a stir. There we go. Put that down there and then seal. And then make sure that's all sealed. Now they do say don't use an air lock in these, but I still do. What I do though is I will only put a tiny amount of water in there so it doesn't blow it out. Let's check. The reason why is because I want to see seals. So if I push that, yeah, you can see movement. So I know that it's got a good seal. There are no gaps in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go off and wash my equipment out and leave it. Well, it's been 2 days now. We're the 1st of December and it's approximately 8 o'clock. As you can see, this is certainly turboing. Lots of nice gas here, which is good. So in theory, they reckon in 2 days' time it'll be finished. Funny that, it's already been 2 days. So I reckon we're probably looking at a few more. Let's see how it goes. I'll be back soon. We are day 8, the 7th of December. And as you can see, while on the 4th of December, so day 5, it got to 0.090. I kept checking it each day. It's been solid. I knew that it was going to be finished on day 5, but I had some other brews running at the same time. So at the same point, I just thought I'd give it extra few days. Compared to the still spirits, which is obviously full of carbon, it's quite dark. The Alcotec is like a yellowy
white. You can see a reasonable layer of yeast at the bottom. That's quite good. And if we lift it up, to me it just reminds me of wallpaper paste, although just not so thick. Quite dense. So I have my spare bucket, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be racking it off into this bucket here and then do a light degassing. All right, we have fraction over 24 litres. It's still very milky. And what we extracted out of it, or what we left behind, I should say, is a very gunky, whitish yeast. And now for degassing. Oh, too low, too high again. There we go. I think that is degassed enough. It looks more like an ice cream, and going back here, the thickness, the height even, that's just ridiculous. Never seen anything like that before. So rather than just adding part A, leaving it 2 hours, putting part B in, I'm going to leave this until tomorrow. Well, I'm not happy. I went to get my finings. I thought before, off camera, I'll cut it up. So I separated the 2 packs as you're supposed to, put it on the table, came back a few moments later, and they'd emptied and gone all over my bench, and found that even though the seal here looks perfect, it hadn't sealed properly. So I grabbed my other pack I've got, exactly the same. Now, as you can see, that is a very perfect seal along the middle, and yet, as you can see, I just squeezed that, it's all gone in that side, and I'm going to do it again, and it fills up there. So well done, Alcotec. My findings B and A are now mixed together, and this pack is completely useless, and I've not even opened it. So that's 2 packets that haven't been sealed along here properly, and it's completely ruined. Thank you very much. Luckily, I do have a 3rd pack. I'm not touching or squeezing these much, because I don't want the same thing has a broken seal. But yeah, you've just cost me money, Alcotec. I'm not happy. The first wash I didn't work, and it's failed. Second wash, I'm trying it again just to make sure it's okay, and you can't even get the findings right. So I don't think I'll be doing another Alcotec. Anyway, what it says is that once you've the fermentation's finished, you degas it, or you rack it off, which we're done, you degas it, which we're done, you stir in sachet A gently and wait for 2 hours, then add B and stir very gently. Leave for 24 hours to clear, and then basically rack it off. So, make sure it's all away from the end. Oh, there's my paddle. So here's sachet A. And very cautious on not giving this much pressure. There's A. Put that to one side. Let's give that a bit of a stir in. Right down to the bottom. Make sure it gets everywhere. Done. The lid back on. Okay, right. It has now been a little bit over 2 hours. So I need to put my sachet B in. Now this one we have to do just gently. So it literally will be, oops, very gently. Just like this. And that's it. That's all we need to do. So, sit that lid on, close that over the hole, and then we leave it now for 24 hours. Right, it's been
a little over 24 hours, and you can see there is a sediment layer there, but it is still quite yellowy. If we pour this off, yeah, yep, so that line is not the bottom, that's just reflection. So just like the first one I did, cannot see down there, and it could be this is the way it's supposed to be.
It's now the 10th of December, and I have racked off the Alcotec. A little bit shocked because it's like this. Now, I've only ever done distilled spirits turbo yeast before, which comes out like that. And as you can see, it looks like water. It literally is very, very pure. This not so much. Okay, I'm quite happy. So this is the Alcotec once it's been through the lembic pot still as a stripping run, and then the T500 Reflux condensing column as a spirit run. And I have about 3.2 litres. This is at about 90%. I need to water it down and filter it. But no, I must admit it's not looking that bad, and I must admit I'm quite impressed. The smell is a little bit on the sweet side, but it certainly doesn't smell bad.